Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today I have got the most fun collection from our friends at Paper Discovery. This is the Cozy Kitchen Collection. It has stamps and dies, and then stamp and die collections. I can't wait to show you what I did with them, so come play with us. Let's start with the Cooking Up a Storm die set. This one has 30 dies and 28 stamps. It comes bound together like this. So it's one purchase and you get both of these. There are dies with stamps with coordinating dies, except for the table and chairs. There's no stamp for those, just the dies. Look at all of these pieces. Saves a lot of time having to cut things out when you have all these little dies. Some of the dies are a little like, what is this one? You know, the shape is kind of unidentifiable, but it fits, because remember, they're reversed. It fits perfectly over that little vintage coffee pot there. So let's get right to it. I'm going to show you what I made with this first set. There's a little easel card, and what's great about this little sign is then you can take the coordinating reading stamp set, and I stamped "This kitchen is seasoned with love." Right there, it fits in there perfectly. The easel card goes up like this, and then I have stamped and colored all these little cute little goodies, and then another little greeting die here, "Cooking with Love," on that cute little cutting board, and then a happy birthday stamp. And then the way the easel card works is you want to prop that up with something that has foam tape on it, so I just use little foam tape squares beneath all of those. And then if you're not familiar with easel cards, I started off with a 5x5 card. We have those at Paper Wishes. They're from Hunky Dory. And everything I'm talking about is going to be listed below our video in the products used list, so look down. And if you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe, you guys, because we do 3 to 5 of these videos a week. And if you click on the link in the description box below the video, it'll take you to this Paper Wishes webisode page, and you'll see everything I'm talking about. So back to the easel card. So it's a 5x5 card, and then what I did was, as I scored across the center, or at the 2.5 inch mark, and then that made this fold like that. And then I made a little card topper, okay, that is just under 5 inches. So it's like 4 7/8. And then that is glued only to the bottom part of that fold so that it can just prop up like that, and then just stands like that, which is a very nice display. And the paper I used for this, for the background, it's got this great white painted brick, and I used that from Wood and Textures paper pack from hot off the press. And then this cute little gingham print, this is from Gingham #1 6x6 papers. There's a really cute little black gingham print there, and then of course a little red ribbon from our red ribbon set. Okay, so on to the next set. So much to show you today. So for this next collection, this is Baking Fun. There are 25 stamps and 26 coordinating dies. There we go. So this one, this sweet little card. So this is a 5x6.5 inch card, and I covered it with, this is 12x12 Gingham #2 paper pack. And as you can see here, I used both sizes of gingham. So there's a small print gingham, and then on the reverse there's a large print. I don't know if we have it. Yeah, this is what the large print is. And there's all these wonderful colors in it's a little bit more pastel, though the blue is pretty bright. And on this one, I used a circle die, 12 circle and scallop cutting dies from hot off the press. And then I stamped directly on, I used Stampin' White cardstock from Hunky Dory, which is just great to color on. I used that throughout anything that I used the Tri-Blend markers on, which I will show you in a moment. And anyway, I stamped that on my circle, colored that in a really nice citrusy yellow, and then I did the cute little cake plate and the little cupcake, and then this shape, let's see, where is it? Right there. This shape is such a funny shape on the die, and it's right there. So yeah, kind of looks like a carrot with a blob on the end, but when you turn it over, oh yes, it fits perfectly around that little icing bag. And then the apron does have a stamp, but the little trolley cart does not have a stamp, just the die shape there. And then at the bottom here, I added eat cake. It's someone's birthday somewhere. Completely true. I love that. Came from this stamp set. And then I added some sweet little flat pearls. These are rainbow flatback pearls. There's just a million in here. Well, maybe not a million, but there's like several hundred, many hundreds of pearls in here. And then I also used the yellow ribbon for a sweet little bow there. Go. Trying to figure out where to put all this stuff. Okay. Then this is the cutest little die set, you guys. It makes this, it's sort of a stove shape here, or you can mix up the dies and you can make a cupboard right here. And this one's Cozy Kitchen. This is 2D Perfect Kitchen die set. And it comes with 8 dies. And then I want to put this one together with you. There we go. Oh, I've got so much here. So I'm going to make my card out of Magnolia Blossoms 12 by 12 pattern cardstock, and then mostly it's going to be using the coordinating cardstock. So I've got everything in my little sheet protector here. Oops, this one is static clingy. There we go. So I started out with my 5 by 6.5 inch card, which I covered with the patterned paper. And then I've got, oops, this is this die right here. So it's sort of the cupboard or stove base. And it's got some embossing on that. I don't know if we can see that. Let's zoom in a little bit, Steve. And you can see, yep, we can see the embossing. There we go. And my suggestion with this is when you are running this through your machine to do some shimming with some extra pieces of cardstock right along those areas. And then I noticed that these top corners didn't emboss very well. So what I did was I just left it here in the die, and I took a stylus, which fortunately I did not bring with me. And then I just took that little stylus ball tool and I just rubbed right there in the corners and just really put a little more pressure on it and those corners, because they're cutaways for embossing, which can be a little tricky. Anyway, and they embossed very nicely after that. So that's my little tip for that one. All right, so we're going to take this and we're going to turn it over the right way and we're going to glue it there. But before we do this piece right here, make sort of a nice grid. Okay, so I took this and cut this from cardstock that would fit right behind here. All right, so let's get our glue. This is Cosmic Shimmer Specialist Acrylic Glue, our favorite glue. I'm going to put a couple of dots of glue just along the back here. We don't need a lot of glue. And then we're going to turn this over and sort of center the grid in that area. There we go. Now, once we get that in, now we're going to glue the entire thing to the card front. There we go. There. All right, so for this next piece right here, this is the stove piece. And I cut this one out twice. I cut it out once from green cardstock and once from that same blue cardstock. And then I took the base of my stove is the green, and then I took all the little blue pieces and I glued those in there. Okay, and I started out by just taking a piece of white cardstock and gluing everything to that. It seemed a little, well, first of all, it's because I was keeping this a separate piece and I didn't want to glue every single piece right here with you. But also it gave me a nice space right here to stamp a greeting. So what we're going to do is glue this on. And I found the best way, once I glued this green piece to the white cardstock, and I cut the cardstock to fit it. Then I found it was best just to take my bottle of glue actually and just apply that to the areas, and then to pick up my little pieces and glue them on, rather than putting glue on these tiny little stove knobs there. So yeah, that made that a little easier. All right, there we go. Now you can see here I've got this one piece right here that's not glued on. It's right here. And it's got these little hinges on it, which I just sort of bent back with my finger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dot of glue just on those hinges. And then I'm going to glue those hinges right there, because now we've got a little door that operates, and you can lift that up and see your little greeting. Okay. And now we're going to add these pieces right here. You can see them on the example right here. I'm not sure what those are supposed to be. I'm not familiar with vintage stoves. They're supposed to go right there. Leave in the comments if you guys know what those pieces are for. I'm very interested in knowing. So I'm going to glue them right here, because it does give a little bit of a differentiation, sort of like between this piece and this piece. So I like how it breaks it up with the color difference, but I just don't know what that is on a stove. So let me know if you've had one of these stoves and you're like, oh, I know what that's for. But I like the way it looks. So there we go. And then we've got this little cup hook. They gave you 2 of these. We're just using 1. Okay, and then putting couple of dots of glue there. I'm going to glue that right along the top there. And then of course we've got in our stamp set, we've got all of these little items that we can put on here, and I am going to pick out, which ones am I going to pick out? I think from this collection. This is from the Cozy Kitchen Cooking Up a Storm collection. We've got cups right here, so you could take your mugs and die cut those and put them right here. I found that the sort of the large white area for that sort of took up too much space. So I actually cut my pieces by hand. I just used my tiny little scissors, because this is such a delicate little area, and I didn't use the die on just this card because it just needed something a little more delicate. Okay, then we've got our little sign, which I stamped "Cooking is my passion." And I'm going to hang that from one of these little hooks. There. And then I've got these 2 little jars. I'm going to put those right up here, because this is a little shelf. And you could just decorate this a little bit like a paper doll house any way you wanted. And then you've got your little door that opens up here. And you could make all of these doors open in the same way and put greetings in those. So there you go. That's how I worked that one out. You guys, we have got another great card here. Well, I hope it's great. Sounds really braggy, doesn't it? So we've got another one here. Let's zoom in a little bit, Steve. This one uses the envelope box card cutting die from hot off the press. And I put all my little cute little cooking items in this box. It lays down flat, perfect for mailing, and it is so easy to put together. So I have got this one right here for you. All right, and this paper pack that I'm using is Sweet Pea 12 by 12 pattern cardstock. I've also got a little bit of dark pink and magenta ribbon. So this first piece right here, let me get these out. This is such a clever little design, and it's so fun and easy to put together. I think it's really versatile too. So we've got this piece right here. You're going to cut one of these out. And then there's some score lines here which we're just going to fold right there. And then here, oops. All right, so now we've got the sides of our box, just like that. And then we've got this piece right here. We're going to cut one of those, and that's the front of the envelope right here. And this is the crossbar, which kind of keeps everything in place, just like that. So I'm going to start off with putting the crossbar in first, putting a little glue just on that folded back piece. And you're going to glue it, there's that back fold right there, you're going to glue it right there so that it's even with the top edge of the envelope. Just like that. Like that. All right, so we've got that glued in place. And then we're going to take the envelope, and I find it's easier just to take the glue and put it right here because I don't want too much glue on the areas that, like right here, we don't want that sticking there. So if you can see, I'm getting it aligned with this side and on this side as well. There we go. And you've got your little envelope. And then you've got all your little pieces that you can die cut and color. I, of course, used Tri-Blend markers by Spectrum Noir. Just a whole set of these. If you want to find the colors I use specifically, just look below the video if you're watching us on our webisode page, and you'll see a photo of all the projects. Just click on those and you'll see exact colors and everything. And I just sort of glued them in. Foam taped some of them to give them a little bit of a lift. You can see they're all just sort of varied, glued to the center bar and to the back. Some are foam taped, a little bit of a bow there, and then a little strip here, "Life is what you bake it," stamp that from that greeting set. And that was all there was to it. That just folds flat for mailing, and then you can write a little greeting on the back. So you guys, we've got all of these die sets, which are so fun to play with. If you're a cook or you want to be a cook, these are perfect for you. So if you want to check out the Money Saver, just look on the right-hand side of the screen here on our Paper Wishes webisode page, and you'll see that. And also look below us for the products used, and you can add those into your cart if you just want 1 or 2 items.